I'm Father Mike Duckowitz, Director of the Addiction Recovery Ministry. And every Monday at 1 o'clock, we spend a few minutes looking at issues surrounding addiction and recovery. For the past several weeks, we've been looking at the 12 traditions of AA. Today, we're going to look at Tradition 9. Tradition 9 says, AA as such ought never be organized, but may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. That first part of Tradition 9, AA as such, ought never be organized, is really an oxymoron. Can you just imagine, if you will, a bunch of drunks and addicts being organized? It just simply is impossible. If you have been to any of the 12-step meetings of AA and NA, you realize the utter lack of organization. It is a bunch of drunks or addicts coming together to share their stories, to help each other. Remember, alcoholics and addicts thrive in chaos. That's where they learn to live. Chaos is what they know. Chaos is where they can function. So to even say AA as such ought never be organized really is an oxymoron. But the meaning here is that 12-step recovery, it isn't a club, it isn't a fraternity, it isn't an organization. It has no bylaws, no rules of order, no firm or rigid message or organization. 12-step recovery is about one thing and one thing only: helping the alcoholic or addict who still suffers. The only requirement for AA or any 12-step recovery membership is the desire to stop drinking or to stop using. That is the sum total of organization for 12-step recovery groups, for AA groups. It is the only requirement and the only organization that is needed for this fellowship to function. Now, that does not mean that 12-step work precludes a billing itself and its members boards or committees like the service groups, such as what they call HI. HI is hospitals and institutions. Many home groups of AA or NA take a meeting into the hospitals, take a meeting into prisons or jails. That's an organization. It's one way AA organizes itself to bring the message, to bring members of the community into hospitals or institutions where they can bring the message of AA or NA. Also, the group can encourage counseling, social works, others who serve and seek to serve the recovery community and those in recovery. I think H&I, hospital and institutional service, is a really great and powerful example. It means taking the message of AA and NA, taking the message of the Hope for Sobriety to those who are unable to come for one reason or another. Perhaps you're going to go to a prison or a jail, a hospital or a hospice, to bring that message, that meetings of recovery. You go also to three-quarter houses. A very good friend of mine, as a matter of fact, my first sponsor, he was laid up for well over a year before he died. And in our home group, we would go every week to his house, certain members, and have a meeting with him in his home. That happens often in AA groups. Remember, the home group perhaps becomes ill. People go to the home and bring a meeting. Or many groups sometimes band together and go to the local prisons or jails, the local hospitals and hospices, to bring that message of hope to those who are in recovery. There's also something called 12-step work. You don't hear about that too much anymore, where you are on call, basically. You tell the downtown office, the main office of AA, that you're available for 12-step work. Somebody may be out there, they're having a crisis, they call the main AA number, and you are called to actually go to that person to go to that person, to bring the message to that person. Perhaps take them to a hospital with these talks. So actually be working, doing your own, being available to do 12-step reach out is a wonderful way to be of service in recovery. Remember, recovery is about service. And the two words that proclaim the message are love and tolerance. That's what 12-step recovery is about, love and tolerance. And that includes giving service, reaching out to others. We are not rigid in our organization. There are no bylaws or rules. It is people coming together, sharing their story, embracing hope, reaching out to each other. I think the most beautiful affirmation of 12-step work is to remember love and tolerance. Next week, we'll look at tradition 10. Let's close today together saying the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Goodbye and God bless.